So, welcome to Accountancy Journals, a vodcast that shows your accounting knowledge, builds your confidence, and the show na susubukin ng iyong talino sa accounting. I am your host, Kiki, and I am with my co-host, Tishi. And today, we're talking about reclassification of financial assets.
Grabe partner, parang title pa lang ng topic natin ang hirap-hirap na. Pero buti na lang we invited some guests to make this topic easy. Now, it's time to welcome KJ, Angel, Yuan, Shelo, Jasmine, and Trisha to Accountancy Journals.
Pero I think, partner, bago tayo mag-start, kumustahin naman natin yung mga guests natin today. Ayan, so, kumusta naman kayo, guys?
Hello, buenos dias. Hello, Madlang Dabber Cats. O, di ba, bagong greetings. So, ayun. Anyway, tonight, I'm so excited to learn something and makapag-share din while chumichika with you guys. So, I hope na makapag-enjoy tayo tonight. Thank you.
Ako naman personally, I am anticipating what will happen sa podcast na to, and I am also expecting na this will be very fruitful and marami akong knowledge na mapupulot at the very end of this podcast.
So, good evening everyone, most especially yung mga laging sumusubaybay ng accountancy journals. Honestly, I'm quite nervous at this moment, and I hope I'll give much information to all BS accountancy students and other audiences out there. FYI, I'm not that knowledgeable with regard to the accounting field.
I have nothing left to feel. I am so nervous to the point na feel ko bigla na lang ako magko-collapse habang nag-explain. Pero kaya to. Nag-pray naman ako kanina before this podcast started.
Hello everyone! I would like to thank you pala for the opportunity na ma-invite sa podcast na to, and hopefully na matuto tayo pati yung mga madlang dabbercads natin sa mga information na ibibigay ko as well as ng mga other guests for today.
Ayan, good evening to our listeners mga ka-wonder. This week has been a week of stress, tiredness, and sleep deprivation para sa mga katulad nating accountancy students. And with that, I'm really excited na mag-guest here para ma-refresh naman ang aking brain and from stress and with this educational podcast. Let's go!
Ayan, magandang araw sa ating lahat. Magandang araw. Right now, I feel very excited talaga. For me kasi, accounting is a very technical process. So, I hope ang lahat sa atin ay maraming matutunan sa podcast na ito. Yun lamang at maraming salamat.
It's good hearing from you all guys na okay ang lahat and kinaya natin. And I know nakakayanin pa natin. Ayan, I think it's time to officially start our discussion about reclassification of financial asset. Ikaw ba partner, ano yung insight mo pag naririnig mo yung word na reclassification?
For me, partner, yung reclassification kasi, yung proseso ng pagpapalit ng classification of certain financial items or transactions in an organization's financial statements. And yun lang talaga yung definition ng reclassifications. Pero, tanungin naman natin yung mga guests natin, no? Ikaw ba, KJ, what do you think is the reclassification of financial asset?
Well, based sa mga nabasa ko, PFRS 9, wow, PFRS 9, paragraph 4.4.1, it explain na ang entity should reclassify financial asset only when it changes the business model for managing the financial asset. At alam nyo ba, the reclassification date nito ay ang first day ng reporting period following the changes ng business model na nagre-resulta ng reclassifying asset.
Oh, yun pala yun. Kung papakinggan, parang mahirap pero hindi naman pala. So KJ, parang if the change in business model is in 2022, the reclassification date is January 1, 2023, the first day of the next reporting period.
Yes, tama yun, Ishi. Pero the entity must disclose the change in business model in the 2022 sa financial assets, financial statement. Kasi the changes in the entity business model is significant and demonstrable event. Kaya dapat siyang nire-classify.
Ayan, tama naman. I remember sa isang tinuro sa CIFAS that everything na ginawa sa business must be disclosed and must be written in their book. Thank you for that, KJ. Actually, mas nag-gets namin yung concept for this topic.
Ayan, pero partner, alam mo ba na may exemptions yung reclassifications? Meaning, hindi lahat pwedeng i-reclassify. And feeling ko, alam ulit to ni KJ.
Tama ka dyan, KK. May exemption talaga ang reclassification. Actually, lahat ng equity investment, hindi siya pwedeng i-classify. Kagaya ng equity investment ng held for trading, measured at FVPL, at ang equity investment naman sa FVOCI or yung FVOCI, irrevocable by election siya. And therefore, cannot be classified siya kasi nga irrevocable by election siya. As well as the debt investment ng FBPL na irrevocable by election din ay hindi pwedeng reclassified. And then, the only debt na investment can be reclassified kapag nagbago nga yung business model na in-apply dito tulad nung sinabi ko kanina.
Oh, ganun pala siya. Before kasi parang akala ko required na lahat ng financial related ng business or entity is need i-reclassification kasama sa reclassifications pero hindi pala no. Katulad ng equity investments pati yung mga debt investment.
Along our discussion, Kiki, mas nagiging gets ko na yung topic. It makes sense na talaga, pero next naman, yung fair value through profit or loss shall be reclassified to amortized cost as per PFRS 9, paragraph 5.6.3, and I think it will be explained by Angel.
That is true, Ishi. Fair value through profit or loss shall be reclassified to amortized cost as per Philippine Financial Reporting Standards 9, paragraph 5.6.3. So, sabi dito, sa pinakaunang part ng specific standard niya, nakakabanggit ko lang kanina, kung ano yung fair value ng financial asset nung time na nag-decide ka na i-reclassify mo siya, yun na agad yung i-consider mo as its carrying amount at amortized cost. So, hindi na pwedeng i-consider as the carrying amount yung original amount niya nung time na in-acquire mo siya since prior to that period or date of reclassification to amortized cost, FVPL na yung gamit mo. So, next naman, yung magiging value ng carrying amount ng financial asset at amortized cost shall be subtracted dun sa face amount niya. And yung difference nung dalawang yon will be amortized over the time or years nung natitirang lifespan ng specific financial asset na yon using the effective interest method. So, pahapiwan naman natin yung idea ng effective interest method of amortization para magka-idea rin kayo. Yung effective interest method kasi ay usually ginagamit sa pagdi-discount ng bonds and such, which is an example nga na financial asset.
Ayan, so parang due to technical issues is nagkakaroon ng technical problem si partner Angel. Pero alam niyo yung sinasabi niya kasi na parang under this method, yung amount ng interest expense in a given accounting period correlates with the book value of a bond at the beginning of the accounting period. So parang in short, kapag yung book value ng isang bond ay tumaas, syempre tataas din daw yung magiging interest expense natin. So parang moving forward, para naman sa last part ng specific standard na to, it expressly mentioned na dapat yung new effective interest rate must be determined based dun sa bagong carrying amount or fair value ng financial asset at reclassification date. Pero sayang, kasi parang nagkaroon ng technical problem ang ating guest today na si Miss Angel.
Sayang nga partner, pero now that we are digging to our topic, I think let's now discuss the change in business model. Kiki, may idea ka ba dito? Kasi I think it is really important to discuss this due to the fact that we are talking about reclassification. So, syempre, may changes.
Ayan, tama ka dyan, Ishi, no? Kasi there will be some changes, especially with the business model as we reclassify some financial asset. Pero paiklian na lang din natin siguro to para mas madaling maintindihan, no? So yung reclassification of financial assets is required when and only when an entity changes its business model for managing the assets. So in such cases, the entity is required to reclassify all affected financial assets.
Grabe pala, KK. Parang alam mo na talaga yung topic and it's easy for you to discuss this topic. Pero now, let's talk about reclassification from amortized cost to FBPL. Ikaw, Yuan, what can you say about it?
So yun, good evening everyone. Actually, reclassification from amortized cost to FBPL or fair value to profit or loss. It is cited to PFRS 9, paragraph 562, which provides that when an entity reclassify a financial asset from amortized cost to FBPL, the fair value is determined at reclassification date. Furthermore, the difference between the previous carrying amount and fair value is recognized in profit or loss.
Ayan, thank you, Yuan. No? Parang isa sa talaga to sa accounting masters ngayon na. So, accountant, actually, tama siya. Kasi since all the changes in fair value are reported in income statement, no? Now that we're done about it, let's talk about naman yung reclassification from amortized cost to FBOCI. So, I think let's hear it from Shelo.
So ayan, good day everyone, especially sa ating mga tagapakinig. For reclassification naman from amortized cost to fair value through other comprehensive income, first is that the financial asset is measured at fair value at reclassification date. Second, the difference between the amortized cost carrying amount and the fair value at reclassification date is recognized in other comprehensive income. And lastly, the original effective interest rate is not adjusted. So yun lang.
Thank you, Shelo, for briefly discussing the reclassification from amortized cost to FVOCI. Now, the reclassification will now be reversed. Kanina, amortized cost to FVOCI now, from FVOCI to amortized cost.
Grabe naman yun, partner. Parang nakakahilo naman siya aralin.
True! Pero andito naman si Jasmine para bigyan tayo ng idea sa reclassification ng FVOCI to amortized cost.
Hello everyone! Ngayon sa reclassification naman tayo from FVOCI to amortized cost. According to PFRS 9, when we reclassify FVOCI or fair value through other comprehensive income, kung ano ang fair value ng isang financial asset at the reclassification date, ito ang magiging amortized cost carrying amount na gagamitin mo. Second is, since meron kang cumulative gain or loss na ni-recognize before sa other comprehensive income, kailangan mo yon i-eliminate dahil need natin ito i-reclassify to amortized cost and i-adjust siya sa fair value na nakuha mo at the reclassification date, which as a result, the investment is reverted back to amortized cost measurement. Lastly, ito ang dapat nating tandaan. The original effective rate ay hindi natin i-adjust, therefore, yung new amortized cost natin should be equal to the carrying amount ng isang financial asset at fair value through other comprehensive income.
Hindi naman pala ganun kahirap, KK. Akala ko rin nung una, super hirap eh. Pero KK, alam mo ba na the amortized cost of the bonds is equal to the carrying amount of the bonds of FVOCI? Now, let's talk about reclassification from FVEPL to FVOCI. Trisha, what can you say about it?
Active pa ba ang ating mga ka-wonder dyan? So, ayun nga, sa FVPL to FVOCI naman tayo. Actually, reclassification from FVPL to FVOCI is not that complicated compared to other reclassification. So, isa-isahin natin yung sinasabi ng PFRS 9 sa reclassification ng FVPL or fair value through profit or loss papunta sa FVOCI or fair value through other comprehensive income. So, first, the financial asset continues to be measured at fair value. Any changes in fair value na mangyayari after the reclassification date ay nire-recognize sa OCI or other comprehensive income, and the financial asset is continued to be measured at fair value. Second, the fair value at reclassification date becomes the new carrying amount, and therefore fair value is determined at the reclassification date. And lastly, a new effective interest rate or EIR must be determined based on the new carrying amount, which is yung fair value at reclassification date. This is so that the amounts of interest and amortization to be recognized in the profit or loss at reclassification date could be determined.
Alam niyo guys, I agree with Trisha. Parang it is more easy to understand this reclassification compared to other topics. Grabe, that's the second to the last topic na pala. Now, for the last topic, the reclassification from FVOCI to FVPL, let's call Cedric.
Ayan. Magandang araw sa ating lahat, ano? Para naman sa reclassification from FVOCI or Fair Value Through Other Comprehensive Income to FVPL or Fair Value Through Profit or Loss, governed siya ng ating PFRS 9, paragraph 5.6.7. Wow, 567. Pero according to the standard, pag nagre-reclassify daw tayo, it is given that the financial asset is una, A, the financial asset ay kinukontinue natin to be measured at fair value. B, yung fair value naman at reclassification date, siya yung nagiging bagong carrying amount ng financial asset. And lastly, letter C, yung cumulative gain or loss na previously na nating na-recognize on other comprehensive income ay nire-reclassify natin to profit or loss at reclassification date. Yun lamang. Maraming salamat.
Oh, ganun pala yon partner. Pero I think just like FBPL to FBOCI, it is also easier compared to the other reclassifications. And now, since it's the last partner, ikaw ba partner, for the last insights, what do you think is the importance of studying this kind of topic?
Grabe, nanggugulat ka naman, partner. Actually, babalik lang tayo sa basic principle. It is important since the accounts allow for easy and accurate classification of financial transactions into categories such as revenue, expenses, assets, and liabilities. This enables the organization to prepare financial statements accurately, and mas nagiging madali nating mape-prepare yung mga financial statements.
Grabe partner, parang di ka naman nagulat at parang ready ka naman para sagutin yung question na yon. Ayan, so to end our podcast today, I would like to thank our accounting masters who joined us today.
Tama! Thank you for insightful discussion, and hopefully our viewers will gain lots of knowledge for our topic. Again, this is Accountancy Journals, a podcast that shows our accounting knowledge, builds your confidence, and the show na susubukin ng iyong talino sa accounting. I am Ishi, and I am with KK. Bye-bye!